welcome back to Hot Girls Eat Carbs. I'm your host, Brittany McChrystal, and I am so glad that we have the chance to hang out today. Whether you're out on a walk, cleaning your kitchen, or just lying in bed thinking about your life, this is your moment. Just us girls talking it out. Now, before we dive in, please don't forget to like or share or send this podcast to somebody who might need a little bit of motivational boost today. It really helps support the show and gets the message out to more women who need it. Alrighty, let's have a little catch up because life has been lifing lately. So we've had Josh's sister staying with us, which has been super fun, and one of my close friends, Candace, also has been visiting over the last week. So the house has been full, it's been busy, but in the best way. I've also been loving having people around again. It's been lots of chats, swims, workouts, and just all that chaos that makes you feel like life is full. And on top of that, we are currently packing up our house in Thailand because we are moving, which sounds exciting, but I mean, I guess it kind of is. It's also been such a mission because basically the landlord originally told us that we had this place for a year, then suddenly dropped the bomb that we had to move out for 3 weeks midway through the month, and then we can move back in. Like, what? And it turns out the reason is because they had listed it on Airbnb, and they had an Airbnb guest. So we've been like, no, we're not doing that. I've been here for a year and a half, and we've got all of our stuff here. Like, imagine packing up your entire life, finding somewhere for 3 weeks, and moving all of your stuff out of your house, and then hauling it back in. So yeah, no, thank you. So we've just decided that we're going to move out into a new place. I'm a little nervous about the change because it is in a new area, but I'm also kind of excited for another fresh start. And also sometimes change forces a little reset, which honestly ties into today's topic perfectly. One thing I am really excited about is this new house actually has an office space. So this house here, obviously it's amazing, really great location, no complaints at all, but there is no room for an office. There's no room for a desk or anything. So I'm currently like killing my back sitting here on these little like ottoman stools where there's no support for my back. So I think that is going to be really great having a little office space. Anyway, in the middle of everything that's been going on, me and Josh have been training hard, which has felt really good. We have been in a bit of a groove lately. Gym, good food, lots of time together, and it's been really wholesome, a little bit chaotic, but wholesome too. Which brings me to what we are chatting about today. It's those seasons where the chaos takes over, the routine goes missing, and suddenly you're in a rut. That weird funk where everything feels a bit meh, like you're dragging your feet, that spark's gone, and your goals feel a little, well, far away. Because if you've been feeling there lately, or you're in it now, this episode is for you. Let's talk about how you can break free from that stuck feeling and get your motivation flowing again. And I just wanted to start by saying this. Ruts are completely normal, like deeply normal. They happen to everyone, and they don't mean that you've failed. They don't mean that you've lost your edge, and they don't mean that you're lazy or uncommitted or not good enough. They usually just mean that your body, your mind, or your energy needs a little bit of a reset. It needs a pause, a shift, and a little breathing room. And trust me, girl, I have been there so many times. And one that really stands out to me was actually in September last year. I was in Thailand and I was coming into the rainy season. And if you have lived through the rainy season here, you'll get it. The sky is grey. Everything feels a little bit muggy. Your energy is just, well, off. And I was so overtraining, over being indoors, over the same four walls. I just did not want to move my body at all. Also, it's like super dangerous if you are wanting to drive out when it's been raining in Thailand. The roads are really slippery. Oh my gosh, I've got a story to tell you guys. So the place that I was in last year in September was on a hill, and it was kind of like closer, I guess, to the jungle. And I did need to go down to the supermarket. It had just been raining. And I kid you not, I got on my bike, I drove down the hill, and there was a blind corner. I turned the corner, and guys, I'm not even exaggerating when I tell you this. There was a snake, like bigger than me, lengthwise, fatter, like lengthwise bigger than me, and like fatter than me, crossing the road. And like, because I was just going so fast, like I didn't really process it until I had gone past the snake, because half of it had already gone off the road. But it just like made me think about, if I was 10 seconds earlier, what would have happened? Like I would have fully ran over this snake, probably would have fallen off my bike because it was huge, and then it would have been like Brittany versus Snake, and I don't really want to know what would have happened then. Anyway, I'm totally off topic, but that story, I just like always remember it. And I can't help driving past the snake when I was on my bike, and I just laughed because like I just didn't know what else to do, but I was like, oh my God, this is so classic Thailand. Anyway, back to when I felt like I was in my rut. The worst part of the rut was the fact that I was so frustrated at myself because I knew what I was capable of. I had been in such a good groove for so long, and suddenly I hadn't been to the gym in 2 months, 2 whole months. And yes, I had done a few Muay Thai sessions here or there, but honestly, even that felt like a stretch. I wasn't consistent and I wasn't feeling strong and I definitely wasn't motivated. And I remember thinking, how on earth did I end up here? It's wild how quickly a little slump can spiral into self-judgment, like I wasn't even being kind to myself about it. I was just annoyed. And it only made the rut feel deeper. But here's the shift. What I've learned after years of coaching other women and going through these cycles myself, the rut isn't a dead end. It's not a reflection of your worth or your future. It's a sign, a gentle nudge, that something just needs to shift. Maybe your body is tired. Maybe your routine has gone stale. Maybe life has just been a lot lately and you need to take your foot off the gas for a minute. A rut doesn't mean that you've messed it all up. It means that it's time to recalibrate and not punish yourself. And looking back now, that season forced me to reevaluate on how I wanted movement to feel in my life. Not just something that I tick off to feel on track, but something that I actually enjoy and something I could look forward to again. Which brings me to the next part, because before you can find your fire again, you need to get real with yourself about why it went out. So the next step when you're in a rut is not to force yourself back into your old routine. It's not to white knuckle your way through workouts or double down on discipline. It's actually to pause, to breathe, and to check in with yourself, gently and honestly. Because it's so easy to jump straight into guilt or panic, to say, ugh, I'm so behind, or why can't I get my shit together? Because, babe, what if instead you gave yourself space to listen? How about you ask yourself, am I physically burnt out? Am I mentally overwhelmed? Have I lost sight of my why? Am I putting pressure on myself to do everything perfectly? Or am I just bored with what I've been doing? That September rut really taught me a lot. I had realized that I had been pushing myself nonstop for months. Even though I wasn't being perfect with my training, I was still going through the motions, showing up, ticking boxes, staying busy, but I wasn't actually present. I wasn't connecting to what I was doing. And honestly, I was just tired, like deeply tired. It wasn't just physical, it was mental, emotionally, and seasonally. Rainy season in Thailand has this way of making everything feel slower, heavier, and all of that just started to reflect in my habits too. So I pulled back. I started journaling again. I spent more time walking, thinking, and even just sitting with myself and asking, what do I actually need right now? And the answer wasn't to go smash a gym session. It was to bring back the joy. It was to move in a way that feels fun, to take the pressure off, and to reconnect with my purpose. Because that kind of clarity doesn't come from scrolling for motivation or telling yourself just to get it together. It comes from slowing down enough to hear what your body and mind have been trying to say to you. And the beautiful part is, when I did finally ease back into my routine, I remembered. I remembered how much I actually enjoyed working out. How good it felt to sweat, to move, to lift something heavy, and to feel strong again. And it was so wild because I spent weeks, if not months, in my head telling myself that I didn't want to train, that I wasn't motivated, and that I was over it. I had convinced myself that I'd outgrown it, and that maybe that version of me was gone. But all it took was one session. I went once, and then I went the next day, and then the next. And you know what? It got easier. Not because I was suddenly more motivated, but because I got out of my own way. It was never about motivation. It was about momentum. I had built the story in my head that I didn't like training anymore, that it was too hard and too heavy. So now that you've checked in and started to make space to reset, the next piece is all about reconnecting with your why. Because when you've been in a rut for a while, it's so easy to forget the reason you started. You lose that spark, the vision gets blurry, and suddenly you're just out of your routine. You've disconnected from the deeper meaning behind your goals. And babe, surface level motivation, it doesn't last. Wanting to lose 5 kilos or tone up might get you started, but it's not the thing that's going to carry you through the hard days, the rainy seasons, the setbacks, the days when you're like, why am I even doing this? This is when your why comes in. Your why is your anchor. It's the reason that keeps you grounded when your emotions are all over the place. It's the thing that pulls you forward when motivation isn't there. So let me ask you, what's your real reason for wanting to get back on track? Is it to feel proud of yourself again? To feel strong and confident in your skin? To prove to yourself that you can follow through on something? To have the energy to play with your kids or go on that hike or run that race? Is it to stop obsessing over food and finally feel peace in your body? Let's go deeper. Here are a few examples of a real soul-rooted why, and I have seen this in myself and in my clients. I want to feel in control of my health again after feeling lost for so long. I want to break the generational cycle and be the first woman in my family to build a healthy relationship with food. I want to stop hiding my body in photos and start living fully in every moment. I want to build the discipline and confidence that spills into every area of my life, not just fitness. Your why doesn't need to sound fancy or profound. It just needs to feel true, like that little spark in your chest when you say it out loud. So how do you actually find your why? Here's a little journaling exercise I love to give my girls. Ask, what do I want? Be honest. Write it all out. No judgment. Maybe it's just fat loss, more energy, food freedom, or confidence in a bikini. Whatever it is, get it on that page. Then ask, why do I want that? And once you answer that, ask again, and then peel back the layers. For example, I want to lose 10 kgs. Why? Because I want to feel better in my clothes. Why does that matter? Because I've been avoiding events and I want to feel good going out with my friends again. Why is that important? Because I miss feeling confident and free in my body. That is your why. Write it down where you'll see it, on your mirror, in your phone notes, as your screensaver, and remind yourself why you're doing this, even when it's hard. Because here's the truth. When your goals are rooted in real emotional aligned ways, you don't need to chase motivation. The vision itself pulls you forward. And if your why has changed recently, that's okay. Let it evolve. Let it be yours. You don't have to want what everybody else wants. You don't have to work out to look a certain way or eat a certain number of calories. You just have to connect with the version of you that you're trying to become and hold her in your heart and move through the discomfort. That is how you build a lifestyle that feels like yours, not a checklist or a punishment, but a life that genuinely feels good to live. Make it easy to win again. Let's talk about something that I used to see so many women get stuck on when they're trying to pull themselves out of a rut. It's that urge to go from 0 to perfect overnight. Like you've had a few weeks off or even months, and then suddenly you're trying to eat 100% clean, train 6 days a week, hit 10,000 steps, track every calorie, drink 4 liters of water, do your skincare, journal, meditate, and girl boss, and be in bed by 9 p.m. That was a lot to say. It is just too much. And honestly, it's not fair to put that kind of pressure on yourself when you're already feeling low. Because when you're in a rut, what you actually need is a win. A little spark. Something to remind yourself, hey, I can do this. And it all starts with one habit. So why don't you ask yourself, what is one habit that helped me feel my best in the past? Like truly, what is something small but powerful that always makes you feel a little bit more on track? Maybe it's going for a 20-minute walk in the morning before your brain fully switches on. Maybe it's having a high-protein breakfast that actually keeps you full until lunch. Or maybe it's doing a single strength session that leaves you feeling strong and sweaty. Drinking a big glass of water before coffee. Getting outside and letting the sun hit your face. And then ask, can I bring that back this week? Just one, not 5 and not everything, just one. And let that thing remind you of what you are capable of. I remember when I was coming out of that rainy season rut. I didn't jump back into a 5-day training week. I just started with one session. And once I got that little win, I suddenly felt better. I wasn't magically motivated, but I had the proof. The proof that I could show up again. That I hadn't lost it. And I just needed to rebuild that momentum. Because motivation doesn't come from thinking about what you should do. It comes from doing it, from the action itself, from those small shifts that build trust within yourself again. Stack your wins. Let yourself feel capable again. And once that momentum starts rolling, you'll be shocked at how quickly the groove comes back. And it's not about being perfect, it's just about building belief in yourself one little choice at a time. I need you to take a deep breath before I say this one. But stop waiting to feel motivated. Because I know it might sound blunt, but I say it with all the love in the world. If you're waiting to feel ready, you might be waiting forever. I used to think that motivation was the missing piece. Like if I could feel motivated again, then I'd go to the gym. Then I'd eat better. Then I'd start showing up like that girl again. But here's the truth. Motivation is unreliable. It's a feeling, and feelings are temporary. They come and go. They're influenced by the weather, your hormones, what you saw on Instagram that morning, or whether you slept well last night. You cannot build a consistent lifestyle on a feeling that's inconsistent. What you can build on, though, is discipline. And before you roll your eyes, and I don't mean the toxic hustle culture version of discipline when you never rest and punish yourself into results. I mean the self-respect kind. The kind of discipline that says, I deserve to feel good. I know this version of me is worth showing up for. I might not feel like it today, but I'm gonna honor my goals anyway. Discipline is having your own back, even when it's hard. It's choosing the thing that builds momentum over the thing that gives relief. And honestly, that's what being in alignment is. That's what an empowered woman looks like. It's not perfection, it's consistency in the face of imperfection. And babe, you don't need to overhaul your entire life tomorrow. You don't need to go from a rut to a 6 a.m. hot girl routine with 5 supplements and a color-coded Google Calendar. You just need to start small, even if it's messy, and even if it feels like a whisper compared to who you were at your peak. Even if all you do today is drink a glass of water, or get outside for 10 minutes, or stretch your body and say, that's enough for now, because that's the magic. You don't need motivation to get started, but starting, that is how you find your motivation again. You start to prove to yourself day by day that you're still in the game, that you can rebuild, that the spark is still there. Maybe buried under some dust, but it's not gone. And suddenly, you're not waiting to feel ready anymore, you are ready, because you're already moving. So let's say you've started stacking some small wins again. You're drinking water, moving your body a little, and starting to feel like yourself again. But still, something feels a bit flat. That spark, that excitement you used to feel about your routines, your meals, your workouts, it's just not there. And here's something I've learned from coaching so many women and going through this myself. Sometimes the rut isn't burnout or laziness. It's boredom. Your body's fine, your mindset's okay, but your soul, she's yawning. Because you've been doing the same meals, the same workouts, the same routine on repeat. And it's just not lighting you up anymore, which is so normal. We are creatures of habit, but we also crave variety, stimulation, and beauty in our day-to-day. So when you feel like everything's gone a bit stale, instead of throwing the whole routine out, just refresh it, shake it up. But keep it simple. Here are some ways to breathe new life into your routine. Try a different way to move your body. If the gym is feeling like a chore, switch it up. Try a Muay Thai class. You know that I'm obsessed. Go for a run on a new route. Take a reformer Pilates class. Or follow a fun dance YouTube on video. Don't overthink it. Just move in a way that feels playful, different, or even a little silly. The goal is to feel something again, not hit a PR. Romanticize your food again. If you've been in a loop of plain oats and dry chicken, no wonder you're bored. Go to the market and pick up a fruit you've never tried before. Add color to your plate. Make your protein bowl pretty. Try a new high-protein recipe that actually excites you. Light a candle. Play music while you cook. And make it a whole vibe. You'll be shocked at how much a beautiful, nourishing meal can shift your energy. And refresh your environment. Even small changes in your space can make a big difference to how you're feeling. Try a new playlist for your walks or workout. Rearrange a corner of your room. Work out from a cute cafe for the afternoon. Open windows. Put on a linen spray. And play something uplifting in the background. Our brains crave novelty and sensory shifts. Sometimes that's all it takes to feel re-inspired again. And look, this doesn't mean abandoning structure. You're not throwing everything out just because you're a little bored. It means that you're creating a routine that feels good again, one that supports you and excites you. And this is the secret to sustainability. It's not about what works on paper. It's about what feels good in real life. So if you've been feeling uninspired, that doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. It means that it's time to play again, experiment, refresh, explore. Bring that spark back in tiny, meaningful ways. And don't underestimate your environment. Look around you. Who are you spending your time with? What content are you consuming? What's the energy in your space? If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, comparison, or clutter, it's going to affect your drive. Clear your space, curate your feed, reach out to people who lift you. You don't need to do it alone. In fact, I built my coaching program because I knew how hard it can be to stay consistent on your own. Community matters. Okay, babe, so that is your little pep talk for the day. If you have been in a rut, know that it doesn't define you. It's not the end. It's just a page in the middle of your story. So here is your reminder to start small, connect to your why, move even when you don't feel like it, and romanticize the journey again. You are capable of so much more than you think, and you just need to start showing up like it. If this episode gave you a spark, send it to a friend who's been feeling stuck too, and if you're ready for structure, support, and someone in your corner, the link to my one-on-one coaching is in the show notes below. Until next time, go and eat the carbs, shake up your routine, and show the world what you're made of.